It's time for Doodle Mania. That's the little game we play where a kid, or an adult for that matter, sends in a little doodle. I try to make something of it and tell a Bible story at the same time. And today we are going to learn the story of Rahab. This is from the book of Joshua. And our first doodle is from Michael, our good friend down in Nevada. And since this is about Joshua, well, at least it involves him, we will start with a picture of Joshua. There he is. He was a young leader. Well, actually wasn't that young at this point, but he followed Moses. After Moses died, Joshua took over to lead the children of Israel in taking over the promised land. So one morning, Joshua got up and there was an angel of the Lord standing there, and he took him over and showed him one of the most ancient cities in the world. It's called Jericho. It's still there today. And at that point, it was completely surrounded by a giant wall that had a really strong army inside, and it looked impenetrable. If you don't know what impenetrable means, it means there is no way anybody is getting into this city. And the angel said something interesting. He said, "See, I've given the city of Jericho into your hands." Actually, God was saying that. And I'm sure if Joshua was anything like me, he looked at this giant walled city and said, how in the world are we going to take that city? But he had faith and he obeyed God and he did exactly what God told him to do. Well, Joshua wanted to be sure, so he wanted to be safe. And he sent 2 spies in from the children of Israel into the city of Jericho. Now, in reality, I doubt if they look like this. But whenever I hear the word spies, I kind of picture the trench coat and the sunglasses. So anyway, these 2 spies went in to figure out what Jericho was looking like, what their weapons were like, what the army was like, and just kind of come back and report to Joshua what was going on inside. Well, while they were inside, they met a lady named Rahab. In fact, they stayed at her house. So Deegan, with his design there, is going to help us draw Rahab's house. So there it is. We'll just add some lines here. I'm not sure if that's Rahab there or someone just answering the door. But the 2 spies stayed in there with Rahab. She was very encouraging. She said, "We've heard about you guys. We know that God is with you. So when you take the city," she had a lot of faith, she said, "I want you to spare me and my family. In other words, don't massacre us. Please spare us if you would, because of how I helped you." Well, Noah drew a great little design here. I'm going to turn that into a close-up of Rahab. We use Noah's design there to get a good shot of Rahab here. And she was helping the spies. She even hid them and told the authorities that were looking for them to look in another direction. So she really did believe that God was going to take this city, and she wanted to make sure the spies would spare her and her family. They said, "We will be glad to do it, but it's going to be pretty chaotic when we come to take the city. So what we want you to do is outside your window, we want you to hang a scarlet cord." That's kind of a dark red cord. That way we'll be able to identify your house by the red cord there. So that's what she did. She hung this huge, long red cord outside her house so that they'd be able to spot her in the craziness. Well, I don't know if you know the story about Joshua and Jericho, but God had kind of a different battle plan for them. He didn't want them to attack the city from the front. Here's what he wanted them to do. He wanted them to walk around the city 7 times. Once a day for 7 days. He wanted them to walk around the city. Not say a word, not shout, don't do anything, don't threaten them, don't show your weapons, just walk around the city. And then on the seventh day, they were to walk around 7 times. Then they got to shout. There they are. There's their route around the city. And when they shouted, the walls fell down flat. Those defenses of Jericho were completely destroyed, and the Israelites could run in and battle with the people inside, who really weren't prepared because they thought their walls were going to protect them. In the craziness, a couple of the guys from the army went in, found the scarlet cord, grabbed Rahab, and rescued her and her family. There they are, running Rahab safely out of the city. Well, my question is, all this spy stuff, all these battle plans, all this talking about Rahab, that was unnecessary because God knew they were going to shout and the wall was going to fall down flat. But then I realized God went to all that trouble just to save Rahab.